Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Luciano, and this video is another response to Metratron, in this case about the variety of swords in Japan. The other type of swords in Japan was called ken and was a copy of a Chinese sword. It was a straight edge blade that could be sharpened in both sides or only in one side. When the Japanese discovered the differential hardening technique, they changed it from a straight edge blade to a curved edge blade. And then from the Tachi, the katana is not very much different, and they keep this profile of blade during many centuries until the Meiji Restoration, when the katana was banned from daily life. So you can see the Japanese really like this kind of blade, this shape. But there were different kind of sword made in the beginning of the Heian period. Some people believe that this blade was made by the same person who created the Tachi, created this curved blade. The blade I am talking is the kogarasu. The kogarasu is a kind of Tachi, but the tip is very different. It's more like a spearhead. It's sharpened both sides, and the blade keeps sharpened on the back side until the middle of the blade. But for some reason, the Japanese adopted the single edge shape as a standard, and they keep it from many centuries. But if you see, for example, the Romans, they also didn't change very much the shape of the gladius. The gladius keep the same profile of blade during 700 years. It's a long time. After some time, the Romans beginning to use another type of sword. It's called spada, but that sword came from outside from the Roman Empire. The Romans had contact with a lot of types of blades from their enemies, but I believe the Romans choose to keep the shape of the gladius and the spada because this shape was more adapted to the strategy used by Romans on battlefield. When you talk about samurai, they had contact with a Portuguese sword. When the first Portuguese reached Japan, the sword that Portuguese were carrying was the black boarding sword, also called Portuguese crab sword, and it's also known as colhona, which means sword with balls. This sword was called black boarding sword because the blade was painted in black to prevent it from rusting because it was used on the sea. But what caught the attention of the samurai was not the sword, but instead the matchlock rifles. The matchlock rifle was copied as the Tanegashima, and the Japanese kept the Tanegashima in the same form during a very long time until the modern era, when the Americans came with new weapons. So you can see very clearly that the Japanese had this culture aspect of keeping the shape of the things they used. And also you can think about the hakama. The hakama was created to protect the legs from the samurai from contact with the horse skin. Eventually the hakama became a symbol of the samurai, the warrior class, and they keep it from a long time because if you're wearing a hakama and carrying a sword, you are a warrior. Even when the samurai didn't use the horse so much, they still was using the hakama. And still today, if you want to practice Japanese martial arts like Aikido or Kenjutsu, you will be wearing the hakama, even if the martial arts that you practice don't have anything with horses. It had a good side, so you think that you'll be using the same weapon the samurai used in the past, and also wearing the same cloth the samurai was wearing in the past, then you will be more closer to the experience of the samurai in the past. About drawing the katana, if it's more easy than drawing another sword. Well, I don't have any other sword to compare it. It may be easier because of the scabbard. The scabbard made from wood. The sword can slip through the wood without offering too much resistance. Like I said, I don't have any other sword, but I have a long machete. The sheath is made of cloth. If you draw the machete, this sheath will offer some resistance, and is also very tight inside. And if you try to do a fast draw, the blade will cut this portion of the sheath, so it's not a very good option to draw it very fast. It's a tool, it's not intended to be used as a weapon, but in some cases people here in Brazil may use this as a home defense weapon. Back to the katana, even if you tie the sageo, the skirt from the scabbard, to your belt, you still have a lot of movement freedom. So as you can see, I can bring the sword towards my hand, and after I get the grip on the handle of the sword, I can pull the scabbard away, and the same moment I am pushing the sword forwards. If you have any questions, please leave it on the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Well, I'll see you later.